Welcome back to Random City Sportsballers. How are you doing, fellas? It's been a while since I've made a video because back in June, we had a pretty severe car accident. I was bringing my daughter home from the dentist and we were rear-ended at a traffic light and we got hit hard. And it totaled my car. We ended up going to the emergency room. Nobody had to be hospitalized, thankfully, but we suffered some pretty bad injuries, and our recovery time has been slow for what we've been dealing with. I don't want to get too much into that because I am not looking for sympathy or anything. I'm not looking for sympathy for her. We're both doing physical therapy. We're coming along. We're progressing, and hopefully we'll be back to normal within a few months. But anyhow, so here we are. We are back. Random City Sportsballers is ready to start putting videos out again. Now, why are we putting out videos now? So fantasy football season is here, and fantasy baseball season is winding down. Let's take a look. So let's take a look at what we have here. If you look through, I am at the end of my fantasy baseball seasons here. We just have a couple of weeks left after this one, and we're not even halfway through this week, so these numbers, they will change throughout the week. But the important thing is I can proudly report that right now 6 out of my 7 teams are in playoff position. They're in the playoffs if they began today. 1 team is in 8th place and in striking distance of the fantasy playoffs. So Random City Sportsballers is having a good fantasy baseball season, as I was expecting. I am in playoff position, and the first step to winning a championship is making the playoffs. So 6 out of 7 so far. We're going to try to get that to 7 out of 7 because this is in striking distance, and I'm playing against the 4th place team this week. Let's take a look at what we got for that particular league because I think that's important. This is the one league where I am not in the playoffs. I am just a few games out of playoff position. Let's take a look at schedule. This week I am playing Pitch Clocks and Pizza Box. They are in 4th place. Next week I'll be playing a team called Straight Cash Homie, which let's take a look at their team. I honestly remember their team, and it is pretty good. Yeah, they've got some good players throughout here. They are overloaded with bats, and so their pitching is minimal. This is a decent team. Got Will Smith, Tanner Scott, Kodai Senga, Zach Wheeler, Alex Cobb, Lance Lynn, Joe Musgrove is on the IL, so is Shohei Ohtani. But that one must have been a stinger because he was trying to rely on his pitchers to carry him through, and he had 2 really good pitchers go down to injury, including Ohtani. So that's unfortunate for him. And he is currently in 1st place. 1st place for him. He's had a very good season. I'll be playing him next week, and let's see how this all goes next week. I'm pushing to get into these playoffs. Wow, looks like he's losing to the 11th place team this week. But we're not even halfway through the week, so those numbers will change. But he did also lose last week to Nick G's nice team. Oof. What among his numbers suffered there? Nick G's nice team is the 3rd place team. So, okay, so he played against 3rd place and lost 5-4. I'll tell you what, you can't be ashamed of losing 5-4 to the 3rd place team. Plus, you just had an injury to, Shohei Ohtani. That's a big injury to suffer. We all suffer injuries, and so be glad when you can make it through the fantasy baseball season and you didn't suffer an injury. But if you did, it's hard work to maintain those playoff positions. So in baseball, we're doing great. Everything's come together. We're at the end of the season. There's just a week and a half left of the regular season, and I have 6 out of 7 in the playoffs now. I may be able to get a total of 7 out of 7 into the playoffs. I feel like if I can get all 7 teams in the playoffs, I honestly, that's the goal, obviously. Nobody is sitting there going, gee, I hope I can get 3 of them in the playoffs. No, you really want to get 7 out of 7 if you're in 7. If you're in 3, you want to get 3 in the playoffs. Always have your goal. Here's a phrase that I like, and I just heard it on Hard Knocks last night. I believe I'm going to paraphrase. But the coaching staff had, or was it one of the players? Either way, one of them had said, we cannot attain perfection, but if we chase perfection, we might catch excellence. And that's the goal. You're never going to be perfect. There is no one who's going to be perfect at this. But let's keep chasing perfection and try to perfect it so that we'll be excellent. And excellence, to me, is 7 out of 7 making the playoffs. Granted, 6 out of 7, that's pretty amazing. That would be excellent as well. But I've got to try to do better. I've got to keep chasing better. So, we're back on the air with Random City Sportsballers, finally making videos again, finally getting to a point where I can actually do some of the videos, still recovering from that automobile accident. And I'm telling you, we got hit. We were at the stoplight and got hit so hard, 40 miles per hour at least. My car was totaled. That car was, if you saw it, wow, you wonder that nobody got hospitalized. That would amaze you, but... That's a shout out to Hyundai for making their Sonata be actually very highly safety rated, because we did suffer injuries, but nobody suffered that major hospitalization or even worse. And the driver who hit us, he didn't suffer any injuries. He was driving a truck, and that may have contributed to his negligence. He may have felt safe. He was young. That contributed to the problem. I think he was 17, 16. I did my best to keep him calm at the scene, because a new driver they just need some reassurance that, can I get behind the wheel again? And I wanted to let him know, mistakes are going to happen, but you've got to be more vigilant when you're on the road, such that you don't cause an injury to somebody. Because we're driving around on the road with these giant cars, SUVs, trucks, huge trucks, and one mistake can cost someone their life. So I really want everyone out there to practice your safest driving habits that you can. We're not in a hurry to get anywhere. Time isn't going to come to a stop if you don't make it to the grocery store in 12 minutes. Get there in 14 minutes and slow yourself down a little bit. Pay attention to the traffic signals. Pay attention to what's going on around you on the road, so that someone else doesn't have to go through what me and my daughter are still currently going through, trying to recover from our injuries with physical therapy, doctor's appointment after doctor's appointment. Looks like I will be going to a chiropractor because physical therapy does not seem to be helping enough. My doctor is concerned about that. My daughter, she is going to be it'll be 12 weeks of physical therapy by the time we even know if they want to continue physical therapy. And I will be continuing physical therapy as well. If I don't show progress, I get to go see a chiropractor. So I'm not looking forward to that. I've never been to a chiropractor. I don't even know what they do. But anyhow, I want you all to be safe out there. Practice your best habits when you're on the road so that everybody can get where they're going or get home safely. In the end, we all just want to get home to our families and enjoy our lives without having to suffer. So I wish all of you the best. Be blessed out there. Make sure when you get to I'm going to do some fantasy football videos here in the next day or two, because, in fact, let me show you something here before I sign out. I'm going to bring up fantasy football. I have done a lot of drafts so far. Okay, do you see all these teams that I have so far? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 teams so far. And as you can see, I have 3 more of these are my home leagues, is what they're considered for me. These are the leagues that I've been in for years. There's one that I've never been a championship in. It's a very difficult league. But anyways, you see, we're talking about, you ready for this, folks? It's a unique format, but we're talking about 18 teams in these leagues. 18. But it's a unique format. These are very difficult. And then we've got my regular home league. I think I've got 6 championships in this one in the past 20 years. It might be 5, but I think it's 6. And so anyways, I've got a lot of teams. They are all named Random City Sportsballers, something or other. Anyhow, so you can see I've got a lot that I can talk about. I mean, that's a lot that I can talk about. We're going to go through, I'm going to discuss what my league strategies have been. I have made notes of some trends that I have had happen because I want to be aware, like when we look at quarterbacks or running backs or wide receivers, how many times am I targeting a specific player? You know, is that the person that I'm going, this is who I'm going to have on all of my teams? Which I would never do, as you know. I don't like all of my teams to look the same. I think that's a disaster, and it will end up going poorly for you. But here's an important factor in the drafts that I've had. I have never had a pick higher than 5. Not once have I had, out of those 9, have I had a pick higher than 5. But I've had the 5th pick 4 times. I've had the 6th pick once, 7th pick once, 8th pick twice, and 9th pick once. So I've never had one of those sweet back-to-back picks for being 1st or 10th. And this is Yahoo default. There are 10 teams in a Yahoo default league, but only 4 make the playoffs. You got to be aware of that. So anyways, I have had 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 as my draft picks. I'm going to pull back the curtain and say I've never been able to draft Justin Jefferson or Christian McCaffrey. It just hasn't happened. But it might surprise you to know that I have had Jamar Chase. I've had Jamar Chase. I've had Austin Eckler. That shouldn't surprise you with the 5th pick. But I mean, I've had some pretty darn good first picks. My quarterbacks are looking pretty solid. As my quarterbacks, I focus on those top 4 fellas. You know, the Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, and Burrow are what I consider the top 4 in Yahoo default. These are pay leagues, so I have now $300 invested into these 9 leagues, including a winners league. Winners league, never discount those. Those are fun. They're difficult to win because these are all previous winners. So anyhow, I'll be making some fantasy football videos as we get back into this. I'll have those out hopefully before your draft coming up, because there are some important pieces of information I've noticed during all of these drafts that I've done. I have 3 more coming up. They're coming up on Saturday and Sunday. You can see here, this one is Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So I'm looking forward to updating you all on how my drafts went, what my draft strategies have been. It's my number 1 draft strategy: be flexible. Be fluid with your movements, okay? Nothing is going to work out exactly the way you want it to, so you have to be prepared to change your strategy. All right. Make sure you get out there. Above all, have fun with your leagues. I hope you're having fun with your fantasy baseball leagues. I know you're going to have fun with your fantasy football leagues. So let's get this fantasy football season underway. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Have fun.